Hey, what's up, y'all? Back again with another video. I hope you guys are all doing well, taking care of yourself, doing the things that you know that support you in this life, and seeking out peace. And we all know that peace is within, and you create your own life. So the videos I have been creating have been focusing on narcissism, but at the same time, I want to point out the fact that it doesn't matter if a person is narcissistic or whatever the case may be. You want to build up a system within yourself, which is confidence, which is knowing that you are good enough, knowing that you are whole, no matter who you encounter. Because, the word narcissist has become really played out, and you don't want to hang on a label. You don't want to be so scared about life either. So it's all about you at the end of the day and how you perceive people and what is your gut and what is your intuition telling you. You want to get to a point where you are at peace with yourself and where you are at in your life. And so I want to give an analogy of how you start to be the own creator of your own life and play your own game. So basketball, I want to use that as an example. You and another person are playing basketball. You and the so-called narc, right? Or someone that you're having a challenging time with, or a person that just tries to tear you down or whatnot. So you enter the court with that individual and they have the ball. The ball is in their hands, right? And they are hogging the ball. They don't want to pass it. The narc is basically giving the shots, dictating how that game is going. So it's imperative to understand that you have your own ball. That ball is conducive to your heart and your energy. So are you going to learn how to be self-sufficient with knowing that you're whole in every situation that you may encounter with anyone, whether they're a narc or not? So when you're playing this game, before you even get in the game, do you even want to play? Do you even want to commit to this game? And do you want to compete? You don't want to be in a situation where you're competing with everyone, trying to prove something to that individual. You already know that you're good with who you are. You already know that your talent is good enough and it speaks for itself. So what you want to do when you understand, you notice that someone is not aligned for you and they don't know how to reciprocate the same energy back to you, then you need to take your ball, your quote unquote heart, your energy, and leave the court. Walk away off of that court, because you want to be in a court, at a game where people are supporting you. So you take your ball away from the court and you don't play with that individual, because you create your own life. And in that game, in the game of life, there's no referees that are going to help you notice the fouls on that individual, that individual has done fouls to you. They made a foul on you. And there's no referee within your life. You are the referee in your own personal life. You call the shots when you know when someone is doing something that is not aligned to you or not respectful. You pull your energy away. You take your ball away from that basketball game, because you want to play with people who are not in competition with you, who want to play on the same team as you, as the same team, who wants to play on the same team, and they want to win and you want to see them win and they want you to win as well. It's a team effort. You don't want someone to score on your basket. Because every time they score on your basket, they're chipping away at your energy. Every time you allow someone to take advantage of you, they are taking away your energy. So you have to be quick in these certain spaces when people are trying to, come at you in a certain way. You got to be quick on your feet. Each basketball player, they have to come up with certain moves for the defender so they can make a point, so their team can win, so they can win. And it's the same for you. Don't let anyone score a basket on your turf, your body, your autonomy. You dictate and you create who you want to participate in this game of life with. So stop giving your energy away to people that you know that is not right for you. You gotta be that strong. You gotta be that unwavering. You gotta know who you are so that people cannot walk all over you. You won't be affected when somebody says something to you that you know that it's not true. And if they come at you in a space where you feel like it is true or your feelings are hurt, that energy was already inside of you to begin with, and it's just triggering you to replace it in that moment. You're doing shadow work, you're transmuting that energy of insecurity that you already had, and you're replacing it with self-love. You could do that. I do it as well. Nobody is going to love you like how you love you. Even if you find love or a partner that matches you, you still have to love yourself. You don't need anything from anyone. You're not relying on anyone for anything emotionally. You want to get to a point where you are not relying on anyone emotionally. And so what happens is that people rely on others to fill a void within themselves. And when they don't fill a void, they don't know how to fill that void with love and self-love. They end up creating karma with another person, and it becomes dramatic and drama. And so you meet another person that quote unquote helps you with confidence, but it's still, false in a way, because you have to patch up that hole within you. That external validation is not 100%. If you get and you receive a compliment or someone telling you that you're a good person, that's just showing you internally who you are. It's just showing you internally who you are. You can't worry about how you look to other people when you're in these spaces, or a job space or friendship spaces. You got to know, if everybody walks away from the table, you're still going to eat. Everyone experiences life differently. Everyone could sit at a table and get the same dinner or the same thing on the menu. Every single person, there's 5 people at the table, and every person at that table ordered the same thing, but everyone is going to eat it and experience it in a different way. And that's the same thing with life. Everyone is having their own experience. So it's imperative to understand that you can create your own experience. And there's a way to transmute energy within you. Because the more that you are more solidified and you know who you are, what you want, what you don't want, what you won't tolerate, what you will, you'll start to notice in life there's a lot of people that really don't match you. You start to realize that you'll be able to weed those people out. You'll know what to entertain and what not to entertain, because you don't want to be in everybody's mess. You don't want to be in everybody's business, because that creates entanglement, and it's showing you to have a level of detachment. I was talking to someone at a previous job, and she was basically saying that she didn't like the fact that her boyfriend at the time was a person who was encouraging her to create her own life on her own. And she didn't like the space in between that time of when they were going to meet each other the next following week or whatnot. but he was encouraging her to create her own life and not to rely on him for her happiness. For her happiness. And so she could not come with a higher thinking. And she literally asked me, what do you think about this? And I basically responded and said that, he's trying to show you to be more self-sufficient on your own and to create your own space, create your own life. A lot of people like to be in relationships where they latch onto each other way too much and it becomes toxic. Even friendships, hanging out all the time, every single day, and that's why there's like a certain level of enmeshment that happens even at jobs. And it's imperative that you set certain boundaries about what you'll talk about, what you will share and what you won't share, because it creates an enmeshment, unhealthy enmeshment in those types of environments, especially if you see those people every single day. So there is a level of detachment that has to be learned in this life, because everything dies. Everything dies here on this planet. And so if everything dies, that means that you have to be okay with the fact that you'll die at a certain point. You'll die. The people around you at some point will die. So why not create the life that you actually want? Why not go for it? Why not be meticulous about the people that you hang out with and the energy that you give? This is the time for that, to align with the people that are right for you, because it's not worth it to be in everyone's business and to be Captain Save-A-Ho for every situation, to make people feel comfortable about who they are. Let them feel uncomfortable. Let them feel uncomfortable about who they are. That's what they have to deal with. That's their responsibility. And that's for them to have growth in their own life, because we're responsible for making ourselves whole at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter if it's a narc or not a narc or whatever. Anyone could say something slick to you. So how do you react? How do you feel when that's happening and going on? Because if you feel a certain way, then that's where that shadow work needs to come into play and be looked at, the root cause of why you feel the insecurities, why you feel shame, why you feel judged, why you feel insignificant, like you don't matter. Where is it coming from? Where is that coming from? And who told you that you were less than? Who told you that you were not good enough? Who told you that? Who told you that? And so when you recognize that, then you can start accepting those are the people who did it, and you are not going to accept those things anymore because it's untrue. If you came from God and you have a higher soul and you're connected to the universe, then that means that all of this stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day, So that's where that level of detachment comes from, because you know that you are a part of God and a higher purpose here on this planet Earth. All the little things about people and all, like how they feel about you, it becomes obsolete once you start to understand that you are here for a reason, and even if it hasn't came up yet. So with the level of detachment, like I told you guys that I meditate often, and so I came across monks. And what monks do, they actually prepare themselves for death, and they do it in a way where they don't eat for a whole month, for a long period of time. They only eat minimal things. So they become super detached from food, and they isolate for a very long time, and then they meet up with the other monks to help pass that individual through. So they're doing it in a respectful manner, and it won't be as painful because they're building up a spiritual system within themselves to have a level of detachment to this external world, because everything that we feed into is going to basically, it could disappoint you. People are going to disappoint you. Jobs are going to disappoint you. So there has to be a level of consciousness of detachment, and also being present, being aware of the people that you interact with. You don't have to laugh at every joke just because another person is laughing. You don't have to laugh at everyone's joke. You don't have to participate in every conversation. You don't have to help every person that has a situation going on at home. Sometimes that's not your place, and it's crucial to understand that in those moments, that you don't have to give advice to everyone that you come in contact with, because sometimes they're not going to take that advice. They're just not. They're not. So you're wasting your time. And then on top of that, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with an individual. You've been around them, you could see their light, you could see who they are, and they're telling you that they're having a hard time with this, and that, and you start to build them up. You start to give them encouragement. And then after a while, after you giving them encouragement and saying, no, you got this, like, you're actually beautiful, you could do this, you have this potential, I see it. And so this person that you're around, they end up turning on you. They end up using the ego that you gave to them, or the energy that you gave to them, the light that you gave to them, against you, and to make it seem like that they are better than you. So they'll use your light against you after you didn't saw them in a genuine place because they were down. And now they want to be like, oh, I'm better than her, so let me try to get her out of this position. Let me try to get, let that individual try to get her spouse. Just stuff like that. Let me try to get her money that she basically gets paid an hour. Like all these like competitive things. So you got to be careful of who you give encouragement to, because some people gotta drown. And you gotta learn humanity and collective as a large of who is really genuinely wanting to be helped, and they're going to use that advice. When I get new information, I use it right away, especially when it comes to health or anything spiritual. I love that stuff. So when I learn something that I know I can apply it to my life, and I'll see if it works. Even if it doesn't work, then I know that there's no loss, because I know that, I tried it, and that was amongst me to try something, and now I know that it's not a match for me. But it was a good step to learn who I am. And you never want to fault someone who's trying to give you advice and you actually use the advice and then it doesn't work out. You can't fault them because you chose to act on that action. You just call it a loss and keep it moving. That's one thing that I realized as well, like in retail, where I was noticing like different types of energies and how people try to scapegoat you or try to triangulate you in certain situations. Like being in retail definitely helps you realize what type of energy you're holding, who you attract, what you don't want to attract, how you could change your energy in that moment. So when I was in this one situation in my past, just to give an example, because I like giving examples, I like talking about certain things. It's not that I'm specifically holding on to that story, but it's a good indication of the things that people deal with at times. So I was basically at this one particular job, and this lady with her friend came up to me and asked me, do you know anything about this shampoo? And I said, no, I don't know anything about it. And she was like, you don't know anything? I was like, no. I was like, let me go ask one of the employees. And the employee, I asked her, she gave me a hard time. She acted like she didn't want to give me any advice because she had a jealousy about me anyway, so she wanted to withhold information from me. And I could tell she kind of knew about the shampoo, but she didn't want to give me the information. I was just like, whatever. People will play little stupid games like that as well. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to help the customer. That's it. Like whatever emotional thing you got going on to withhold information because you don't want me to succeed. I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to get to the solution. And I'm going to get to the point of getting whatever the fuck that I want to get. No one stops me from getting what I know is aligned to me, or whatever information. I'll get the information somewhere else. And I was like, okay. So I walked back and I went to the ladies and I told them I'll look it up. I'll look at the reviews. And so I looked up the reviews. There was barely any reviews. Okay, so she gave me an attitude because I didn't know about the shampoo. Mind you, I'm not going to use that type of shampoo on my hair because she has a different texture of hair. My hair is a little bit more thicker, so I'm probably not going to have experience in that shampoo, So she got upset with me and was trying to basically say, oh, should I get this one? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I really don't want to recommend anything to you. I was like, what steps, what basically stands out to you that you feel like you would like? I flipped it back on her because she wanted to try it and then go home and then try it and then come back and then complain at the fact that I told her to get that shampoo. She wasn't gonna pull me into that so she can have someone to blame. So I left it on her to decide at the end of the day, what does she feel comfortable with? What stands out to her? Does she really want to try it? Do you want to base it off of smell? Sometimes you got to try stuff. You can't just blame it on somebody else to figure it out for you. And then if they suggest it for you, then you blame them. You have to take accountability for yourself. You got to take ownership for your own decisions. So I was starting to see that in certain job dynamics, and I started to switch up how I was coming at people and talking to them, leaving it in their hands to feel confident to make a decision to claim what they want, because I'm not them. I can only be me. You know what I mean? So with the extent, she has to finish the job. And that goes for energy. That goes for how you look at yourself. You got to take accountability for your own life, your own decisions. And when you do that, you won't go out and blame it on someone else, because when you blame it on someone else, you're not healing. You're not seeing what you're capable of, So learn how people are. Learn those little potholes that you can learn, those little potholes that people put you in, those triangulated situations, and those scapegoated situations, and it will start happening less and less. When you're in these environments, you don't have to be the person that's like, I want to help everybody, I want to help everyone. Learn to cut that off at times. Know who to help, know when to not, because when you do it in that form, you're going to get all types of people, and it could create a lot of drama. So have authority over your own life of what you accept and what you participate in. Even in what you participate in, like I said, if everybody in the room is laughing and you don't find that joke funny, don't laugh. If you don't want, if there's a potluck going on and somebody offers you food, or someone offers you food in general at a job or a family member, you don't want it, just say no. There's nothing to prove to anyone. That you don't have to explain shit to no one. Let them think whatever they want to think. Let them, like I'm a smaller person. And at times when I would tell family members, I'm not hungry right now, they automatically think, oh, she's not eating. No, I can eat. I'm just honoring my body. I'm honoring my body, and I will eat when I feel like it. I'm not that attached to food like that. Food is amazing. Food is nutritious, and it definitely has value when you eat the right things. But I'm honoring my body. I'm not going to force things down my throat just because to make other people feel comfortable so I won't hurt their fucking feelings. This is my body. I'm inside of here. So I know what I need in any given moment. Nobody gets to dictate that. So that's where you want to be at, So take your ball out of the court if you don't want to play that game. If you don't want to participate in that game, and remember, you are your own referee. that recognizes when something's not right intuitively. When you recognize the energy is not right intuitively, you call the shots. And don't let anybody score a basket on your court, on your home turf, which is you, which is you, which is you. And you solidify that energy every single time, because you're going to be sent that energy over and over again, because you've been doing the work. But sometimes you get sent that energy over and over again because you've been participating in it for a while. You've been people pleasing. You've been putting up with things that you shouldn't be putting up with, and allowing people to walk all over you. So when you decide to not participate in that energy, and you start to make a U-turn in your life, and you make a U-turn back into yourself, and you make a U-turn back to home, which is within you, when you start doing that, you may have some stragglers of people that will try to test you, that will come towards you to try to tempt you, to draw you back in. And you gotta be unwavering. It doesn't matter how good they look. It doesn't matter what position they have in life. You gotta commit to yourself. You gotta be in a relationship with yourself. You gotta be monogamous with yourself, because you gotta tell the universe that you don't want those energies anymore. And you mean it, because you're tired of it. You're done. You have surrendered to yourself. And you have a higher knowing of what's right for you, and start trusting that everywhere you go. Don't let anybody decide for you. When you want, it could be the smallest thing. When you go into a shop and you be like, oh, I want this soda. And this guy is telling you, the worker dude is telling you, oh, we just got these new sodas in. And you know damn well, you could feel it that you're not going to like that new soda. You could just tell. You don't like it, you don't want it, and it's not what you would want to taste, that you absolutely know for a fact that it's going to be gross, but you take it anyways. You're dishonoring yourself, and it happens in those moments. And I'm not saying not to be open. When it's okay to be open. You wouldn't even second guess it within here, that you want to try something new. Some days I try something new, like when I go to a restaurant, it is with the smallest things. Because it falls into the biggest things as well. So sometimes when I go to a restaurant, I'm like, okay, I'm open to trying something new. Other days, I'm going to eat what I want to eat, what I usually get. You got to follow that intuition. And then there'll be another time I went to a restaurant and I'm like, okay, I think I want to try something new. I think I tried something new and it wasn't good. And I knew I shouldn't have tried that new thing, So if you are in a space where you can't make a solid, concrete decision, take your ball away from the game, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will be back again with another video. Peace.